Thanks for checking them. Check it out now. Another curious case of wanting something so bad until you get it, then you don't even know if you want it no more. Now, most rappers, or most struggle rappers, their goal is to get a record deal. I mean, I get tons of emails, DMs. Yo, Akademiks, could you sign me? Could you link me up that I could get signed? And a lot of people think that being signed actually just cures their worries, okay? Being signed is a goal for a lot of people that's not in the industry. Till you become signed, then you get successful, or sometimes you're kind of successful already. You sign, and then as you get more success, you realize you signing is really just appointing a boss, okay? Now, rapper Lil Uzi Vert, okay, basically he has a tremendous buzz, and to be honest, I don't really attribute his buzz to any type of label. He just puts out hot music. I mean, his SoundCloud is booming. People fuck with him on social media. He's one of the new rappers who's doing his thing. However, now that he's signed, and he's signed through Generation Now to Atlantic, and I know a lot of people say, yo, he was signed to Wiz Khalifa. No, he was not signed to Wiz Khalifa. He signed through Generation Now with Atlantic. Now, here's the thing. Now that he's signed, right? It looks like he's having second thoughts about it, because he put a message out on Twitter where he says, "Oh, my young niggas, don't sign to a label. I'm your elder. Labels do fuck shit. They send and okay records and fuck up your SoundCloud." And then he says all the fuck shit stops when Love is Rage 2 drops, so get it out your system. Let's burn bridges, okay? Now, let me just say this, because I'm not too sure what's going on with Uzi, but I've said repeatedly, I don't think we even need labels. I mean, again, I understand it's hard building a team that would do everything that is necessary for a rapper who is primarily focused on music and who's successful, which could bring in a lot of money to really operate. However, man, I think most of these guys, as they continue to grow and they grow their presence online, you got to start formulating a team, and you'll realize that a label is basically just you having a team, except they're in a fucking office. All right? You need a manager, okay? You need someone who's going to deal with all your rights to stuff. You need somebody who's going to deal with your legal stuff. You need some people with a couple of connects. I'm not going to lie, okay? But you don't need to sign to a major label. A major label ain't going to do shit but get you on, like, late night shows and probably get you in commercials. That's about it. So I will say this, man. I agree with Lil Uzi Vert. Now, he is already signed. I mean, Waka Flocka seemed to agree with him, because he, commented, with a smiley face under my Instagram post. A lot of people are waking up, but we see time and time again, because it is stressful. We heard Chance the Rapper recently speak with Katie Couric, and he was talking about how stressful and how much work it is to be independent, or still be independent. I know there's a lot of question if he's actually independent. However, at some point, people usually just give in. We saw over the last couple months, we saw 21 Savage, he signed. We see a lot of people who they start out independent, but after a while, you just don't want to be doing all that type of shit. And also, the label will come to you with a plan to show how so much money is escaping, so you say, fuck it, I'm going to just sign. However, here's the downside to these labels. These labels, they're usually going to put you on a schedule. You then become priority or not priority. If you're not hot, you're not priority anymore, which means they don't have the passion for you as you might have for your own career, because they're looking at how people are feeling you, and if you can't make them a lot of money, they don't give two fucks. Also, sometimes they just want to put shit out just to put shit out, so even though creatively you might not be in a great space, they might just want something for the fuck of it just to get those numbers up or just to get those sales, okay? Again, it could dilute your content, dilute your entire brand, and for some people, you don't want to do that shit, okay? You don't want to appoint a boss when you don't even think you're boss. And listen, here's the crazy thing. Most of these record labels, listen, Google these record label staff, okay? Most of them, you will look at and be like, they listen to hip-hop? So you could tell they're out of touch, especially with new rappers. So imagine them having the power to okay and say no, or they're going to decide the majority of what your career will be, and they don't even understand you. That's fucked up. So, again, Lil Uzi Vert explains and expresses his frustration in a sense, but he's advising everybody else, don't sign, okay? Yeah, listen, most people right now sign management deals. You sign a management deal, that person would have connects, and then you have other people around you to build out your team, and you continue to work like that for as long as you can. Now, maybe you sign to a label if it's beneficial, but you don't necessarily have to. Okay? Again, comment, you guys like them, subscribe to Akademiks. What do you guys think? If you were a rapper and you had about, say, 500,000 followers on Instagram, 500,000 followers on Twitter, you had, pretty good plays on, say, a SoundCloud account, you get me, you get a couple 100,000 views per song, would you sign or would you try to stay independent? You be the judge. Get in the comment box, you guys like them, subscribe. I'm out. And by the way, another thing that gets people onto these labels, the labels are cutting huge checks, okay? When you're working and you're independent, those checks come in slower, okay? Now, they might be more over time, but the label will just give you $1 million up front, right? Now, you might not get no more money for the next 2 years, but a lot of people just want that milli in their hands. It's your boy, Akademiks, in the comment box.